everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing something really interesting. We're gonna see what's on my phone. So the phone that I have is the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and I got this in January this year, and it was a gift to me by my parents. And honestly, this is the best gift that I've received that has helped my channel so much, because that is exactly what I use to record my videos. I'm using it right now to record this video as well, so you can see that it has a really high quality camera. So let's quickly dive into the video. I'm going to show you what is on my phone on a screen recording right here, and let's quickly get started. Okay, so the lock screen wallpaper is a picture of my mom, my dad and I, and we are standing outside the Tirupati Balaji temple, and it is one of my favorite pictures, and I love unlocking my phone and seeing this as the first thing. Now when you unlock the phone, there is a picture of me sitting at the House Lake in Delhi, and I really like this picture a lot, so yeah, that's why the wallpaper. Now there are a couple of home screens. The main home screen on the top, it has a widget where I can see the temperature and how the weather is going to be that day, just basic stuff like that, time and date and day. And then there is a Google search widget, which really comes in handy for me because I search a lot on Google, so I don't have to go anywhere, just have to type in the stuff there and just go and search. And then there's some pretty basic stuff like WhatsApp, gallery, camera, Play Store, and then there is phone, contacts, messages, and there is a Google folder, which again comes in handy because there are a lot of apps there that I use quite often, so I don't have to go to the menu and search for them individually whenever I have to use them. And there is another folder here, which is the books folder, and it is a shortcut for all the ebooks that I'm currently reading. So again, it saves a lot of my time. I don't have to go and open the app and then search for the book. It's just a shortcut. I have to just click on whatever book I want to read, and then it opens and I can continue reading. The app that I use for this, I'm going to show you what app that is in a couple of minutes. Now when I swipe right, the next home screen has one widget which covers the entire screen. It is just the music player, the Samsung music player. And then when I again swipe right, it is another home screen which has just the Bixby shortcut. Bixby is basically like Siri for Samsung, so I don't use it that much, but yeah, it's still there and I haven't deleted it yet. And then from the main home screen, when we go left, there is a widget by Google Calendar, which just shows me what kind of appointments I have lined up or where I need to be, if there are any calls that is scheduled, or is there any holiday. Now when I swipe up from any of the home screens, I get a whole menu of apps, and this is something that I absolutely love about the Samsung phone, because there is no clutter on the home screen. I have a separate menu for all the different apps. I don't have to see everything on the home screen itself. I can just keep the things that I want, and that's about it. Another thing that I love about the Samsung apps menu is that I can dedicate different pages to different kind of apps, which you're going to see in a minute, and I can arrange all the apps according to my own volition. The first page of the menu apps are the just basic apps that I got with the phone, basically the Samsung apps. So there's a Samsung folder which has all the Samsung related apps which I have never used up until now, and then there is another folder by Google which has all the Google apps, then there is one by Microsoft, and then there is the Play folder. Out of all the apps that you can see here, the ones that I use the most are clock for alarms and timers and stuff. Then there is Samsung Notes for any kind of notes that I like to take. It's a really amazing app, by the way, and I can just make a note of anything and everything. And I have a separate folder with all of our signatures because of the S Pen. It's like really easy to write things on this, and it's more like using a pen and paper. So amazing app. I love using Samsung Notes app. And then there is a voice recorder which I use sometimes when I have to do a voiceover for my videos. And another app that I use a lot and often from this page is the calculator app. Now when we go to the next menu app page, it's all about the social media apps. So everything here is just related to social media. So there is WhatsApp, there is Instagram, pretty basic. And by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, my handle is ruchika.1201. Go and follow me on Instagram, please. Anyway, so after Instagram, there is YouTube, there is Messenger, Facebook, and pretty basic social media apps. And then there is YouTube Studio, which I really like to use because I can get like a basic overview of how my channel is doing whenever I want with this. And then there's Snapchat, which I don't don't use at all for messaging or for posting stories or viewing stories. My mom and I like to just play around with Snapchat lenses because they are real fun. And then the other reason why I like to use Snapchat is because of the Snapchat cameos. And I'm going to show you what that is. So you basically go to Snapchat, you open any of the chat, and then you type any word. So I'm writing hi, and then you wait, and then the cameos load, and that is what I love to use. Like, I would download them and then I would send them to my friends on WhatsApp just for fun. Like, I do such childish things sometimes and I enjoy them. And then there is Bitmoji, which basically works with Snapchat. There's Twitter, Pinterest, and then there is this app Later, which I like to use to schedule my Instagram posts sometimes. And the thing that I love about Later a lot is that it has a desktop version, and there is this app called Follower Analyzer, which gives me some analytics about my Instagram page. Obviously, Instagram business account has their own insights and analytics, but I like to have just more options with me so that I can just see more analytics about how my Instagram page is doing. And then there is Filmora Go, which is a video editing app, and there is second WhatsApp, which is for my second phone number that I have. And then there is a photo editing folder in which I have 3 apps: Lightroom CC, Snapseed, and YouCam Perfect, arranged in the order of how much I use them. So I'll use Lightroom CC the most because it allows me to play around with colors a lot, and Snapseed and YouCam Perfect are the apps that I use for some basic editing where I don't have to go all crazy with the colors and stuff like that. That is when I use both of these apps. There is another folder here which is the Stories folder, Story Editors, and these are all the apps that I like to use for Instagram stories. So Mojo is the first app that I ever installed for editing Instagram stories, and I like Mojo, but the thing with Mojo is that it has only a limited number of templates, and that is when I downloaded Canva and Adobe Spark. Both of these apps are what I use to edit my Instagram stories and my Instagram posts. I've recently downloaded Unfold and StoryArt because I have read a lot of good reviews about these two apps. I haven't used them yet, but these both are also for editing Instagram stories. Another app that you can see here is Fonts, which is a great app that allows me to write in different fonts on the Instagram stories without having to install any of them. So I'm going to quickly show you how it works. So you open Instagram and you just select this as a keyboard, and then you can see there are so many different fonts in which you can type, and then you select whatever font you want and then you start typing. The one that I really like are the serif font and the script font. Now the third page is totally dedicated to the productivity apps. So there is Google Keep, which I love to use to create more of a repository, of like a digital repository where I keep all like invoices and bills and stuff like that, so that I do not have any physical clutter because of those things. Then there are some contact numbers that I do not want to save on my phone because I don't want them in my contact list, but I just want to keep them handy because sometimes I do need to use them. And then there is some personal stuff and some YouTube stuff, some inspiration, work related stuff that I like to keep in Google Keep. And then there is Google Calendar, again amazing app for any schedules or appointments that you have. Then there is Asana, which is a project management app that I use for organizing my YouTube and Instagram content. And then there is Wunderlist, which is basically a to-do list app, but I don't use it as a to-do list. I use a physical to-do list like a bullet journal, but I use Wunderlist as more of a bucket list. And recently Wunderlist migrated to Microsoft To Do. That is why To Do is there, and I was just so lazy to uninstall Wunderlist, and that is why it's still there. Anyway, so the To-Do app or the Wunderlist app is more like a bucket list where I keep things like the movies I want to watch, the series I want to watch, books I want to read, places I want to visit, apps I want to try, things I want to do, and stuff like that. Now there is Pocket, which is another amazing app which lets me save articles that I want to read later. Like if I come across an article right now and I find it really interesting but I don't have the time to read it now, I can save it to Pocket and then I can read that article later offline as well. And another amazing thing about Pocket is that it will read it out to me if I want, so I don't have to read the article word by word. I can listen to it while I'm doing something else. Then there is the Samsung Reminders app, which I use for reminders. And then there's Forest and Tide, which I basically used on my previous phone, and these are amazing apps if you want to avoid distractions. But in this phone there is an inbuilt feature which I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. By the way, I have talked about Forest and Tide in a lot more detail, and I've shared a couple of really amazing apps that can help you avoid distractions in okay, where do I show you this video? And then there is Toggle, which is basically a time tracking app which I really love to use to see where I'm spending most of my days. Okay, so the next page is full of personal use apps. So there's Truecaller. So if anybody is calling me and their number is not saved on my phone, it will tell me who they are, where they're calling from, their mobile network and stuff like that. And then there is Delhi NCR Metro, which is an offline app, and it really comes in handy whenever I have to go somewhere by metro, because it tells me how many switches are going to be there from one station to the other, which line I have to go on, how much the fare is going to be, and how much time it's going to take me. And then there's Samsung Music, and then there's Spotify, Google Pay, which I use for transactions. There's Medisave. So Medisave is an app which reminds me of when and what medicine I need to take. And there is InShot, so it will give me news from all around the globe, and it will condense it in just 60 words or less. So it's an amazing way to just stay updated. Then there is Geotv Cinema that comes with the Geo subscription. Geotv is for online TV streaming, and Geo Cinema I can watch Disney movies, Disney series, and some of the movies and series that Geo Cinema provides. Then there is Netflix, and then there is MV Cast Player. Now why I have this app, it's basically an external video player, and why I have this is because if I play something on this, and if let's say my computer on my TV is on the same Wi-Fi that my phone is on, that I can just basically Wi-Fi share whatever video I'm watching on my phone and watch it on my computer or on my TV. Then there is TV Time, which basically helps me keep a track of which movies and series I've watched. And then there is a folder which is basically for cab services like Ola and Uber. Then there is a folder for health. Now it has 3 apps: Samsung Health, which is like an inbuilt Samsung app, and then there is Google Fit. So I have both the apps which do basically the same thing, but I'm more used to using Google Fit. It calculates the number of steps that I've taken in a day, and I try to keep my phone in my pocket as much as I can throughout the day so that I can see how active I have been. And then there is Digital Wellbeing, which basically takes care of my digital well-being. Now when I open this app, it shows me the number of hours I have been on the phone. Obviously for today it's too much because I've been recording videos. Then there is a timer. So what I can do here is I can set the time limit for each of these apps that I have installed on my phone, post which, like, if I cross that time limit, I would not be able to use that app anymore for the day. So it's a really good way to just keep my social media scrolling in check. And then there is another option called focus mode. This is what I was talking about when I was telling you about Forest and Tide. So there are 2 modes here: work mode and there is the me time. So when there is work time, there are only 2 apps that I am allowed to use. One is the camera, the other is the gallery. So work time is basically the time when I record my videos. So these are the only 2 apps that I need at that time. And so even if by chance I have left the Wi-Fi on or the mobile data on, I would not receive any kind of notifications and there would be no disturbance at all. I would only be receiving calls, and that's about it. And then there is me time, where I just allow myself to use some meditation apps or law of attraction apps or just productivity apps and stuff like that. And then there is a folder for online shopping apps. So I just have 2 there: Amazon and Nika. Hi guys, so I actually forgot to tell you about this app when I was recording the video. Well, this is the Media 365 reader, and I use this to read all my ebooks. So whatever you are seeing here on the screen are all the different bookshelves that I've created according to the different authors. And if I open one bookshelf, I can open J.K. Rowling for example, you can see that there are so many books written by J.K. Rowling in this bookshelf. And why I love Media 365 reader is because, let me open a book and show you quickly. Let's say I open a book. If I turn the page here, you can see it looks so realistic, as if I am reading a real physical book. So that is why I love it so much. And the other reason why I love it is because I can create shortcuts of any books, as I showed you a couple of minutes ago. on the home screen and I can access the book directly from there. And you can see that this shortcut here is created and I can open the book from here itself and I do not have to go back to the app. So this is about the Media 365 reader. Now let's get back to the video. And now we are on the last page of the apps menu, which is for games. The first game that I have is the Harry Potter game, which I really love to use, but I have started using it less and less nowadays, and I'm focusing more on Pokemon Go, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. Now the next app is Numberzilla, which is like a brain game, and I love using such brain games a lot. And then there is Jobdom, which basically my mom loves to use because, you know, whenever she has done all her work and she has nothing to do and she has to kill some time, she would just start playing this because it's like more like a mindless game that you can play. And then there's Pokemon Go. So mom and I used to play Pokemon Go on our phones because we wanted to include some kind of physical activity and we wanted a motivator. So this acted as a big motivator because we had to go outside to catch some Pokemon or gather some Pokeballs. But now, because of the coronavirus pandemic, they have changed their policies so much that we can just stay at home and do so many things without even stepping outside our home, and they have made the game so much more interesting. So nowadays I am not playing Harry Potter as much, I'm focusing more on Pokemon Go. And then there is this app Ludo King, which I like to use when I have nothing to do, I've done all my work and I just have to kill some time. Okay, so this was about the menu app. Then there are some more things here. So there's an edge feature here on Note 10 Plus. So if I swipe here, there are a couple of edge pages. The first edge page is where I have my mom and dad's contacts. So I do not have to go to the contacts app, or I do not have to go to the phone app and then dial their number, search for it. Their numbers are very easily accessible to me. Now on the second page of the edge, I have some commonly used apps. The third page is the music app again, so I can access the music from either the edge page or the home page. The fourth page has all these really useful things which came by default. I haven't really changed them, but the one that I use the most is the screenshot features. And now I will show you one last amazing feature of this phone. So when I take the S Pen out of its place, a number of different apps pop up. So the first one is to create a note, which is basically the Samsung Notes, and the other one is where I can view all the notes that I have saved in Samsung Notes. And then there is Smart Select, so I can select a portion of any page and I can either pin it to my desktop, or I can extract a text if there is a text there, and I can do a lot more things with this. So it's like using the snipping tool on the Windows computer. And then there is Screen Write, which will basically take a screenshot of the screen that you're on, and then you can write anything on there and then save it to your gallery. Then there's Live Messages. Let me quickly show you. It's a really cool feature. So first I'm going to select a background, let's say this one, and then I'm going to select a pen and let's write hi. And now let's play it. Cool, right? And then there is Translate. So if I want to translate anything to English, or from English to any other language, I basically just have to select this option and then point the pen to any word that I want to translate. So gallery is called gallery in Spanish. But I can select sentences and then translate them, or if I want to translate just one word, I can do that as well. And then there is Pen Up, which is again a very nice app where you can just draw things. So you can see people have drawn some really amazing things using the S Pen and the Note 10 Plus. So I really love this amazing feature. Obviously I'm not really good at drawing just like that, but I love to watch some of the drawings that others have made. And then there is a coloring app where you get a lot of different templates and you can just color them according to your own wish. And if I open one template, you can see that people have created some really amazing pieces. So there you have it, guys. These are all the apps that are on my phone. Make sure that you give this video a like if you enjoyed it as much as I loved and enjoyed making this video. It was such a fun video. And while you are still here, make sure that you check out these two videos. I'm pretty sure you're gonna love them. And subscribe to my channel by pressing this button, because I usually make videos on personal growth, productivity, and lifestyle. I will see you all pretty soon in the next video. Until then, keep loving, keep dreaming. This is Ruchika Srivastava signing off.